now, so I think we're fine.
Thank you.
All right, I would like to go ahead and call the Downtown Development Authority of Fairburn's meeting to order. I'm going to start by doing a roll call, and then we'll do the pledge. If you are here, please signify your presence by saying aye. Tricia Chambers.
Aye.
Todd Ireland.
Aye. Aye.
Chris Wiley.
Aye.
Letitia McCoy.
Aye.
Mika Smith.
Aye.
And Mr. Homer Knight is not present with us, I don't believe. He's not, but we do have a quorum for this meeting. I would like to go ahead and say the pledge for those who want to participate. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, the first item on this agenda is approval of this agenda. Can I please have a motion?
Chris Wiley, motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
It's Todd Ireland. I second that motion.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, the next item on the agenda is reports and updates. First report we have is Treasurer's Report.
Good evening, I'm Pat Chambers. I'm the treasurer for the Fairburn Development Authority. We have two accounts now, so we're going to go through two accounts tonight.
Okay.
Chairman, this is your
Thank you.
Let's start with our new account, which is titled the Development Authority of Fairburn Revitalization Project. That's our joint account with the City of Fairburn. On 1/29, we deposited a $300,000 check from the City of Fairburn. That was their portion of our property that we purchased at 25 West Broad. There was a $20 wire-in fee. So we wired out for that, closing on that at $299,945. That was their portion of it, with a $35 wire-out fee. We accrued $9.04 interest on that account, and that's the balance. So I don't know if we need to find out if we need to carry a balance on that account. I need to ask them and see. And if we do, can we transfer part of our funds into that account?
On the revitalization? Let me follow up with the city administrator and see how they want to broach that. It's going to be the account that they oversee.
And when do you think the bond deposit will go in there? Do you know when that'll be?
So Dan is going to join the call at 6:30, and he is going to give an update as to the bond resolution. Once the bond resolution has been completed, voted on and completed, then the account will be funded.
Okay.
But I'm going to defer to Aaron and let him touch on any points that were missed.
No, you're correct in those areas. Once the bond resolution is approved, then the accounts will be basically ready to go.
Okay. And will there be an initial deposit into that account?
Yes.
Okay.
There will be an initial deposit.
So we can hold off on just writing that $9.04 interest out till we close that.
Sounds
I'll
good.
call them and ask them on that one. The other account is our Development Authority of Fairburn account. The ending balance for January 30th, 2026 was $248,405.91. And On this account was the second part of the wire for the closing at 25 West Broad. We wired $140,055 with a $35 wire fee. So we have the first account, revitalization, pay part of it. We wired part of that. The other part was wired out of our account. And there's one other thing we need to talk about tonight. Sylvia Abernathy and I had a call with Ameris Bank about the positive pay. And we're going to have to make a decision on it. And he suggested what they call reverse positive pay, which gives exceptions. It's $75 a month for both accounts. And then to protect you from anybody trying to wire out of your account, without your authorization, it's $50 a month. So $75 and $50 are the charges for both accounts. We think it's, Sylvia Abernathy and I decided, and we think it's probably best to go with both of them on both accounts. And the question I have tonight is we're going to have to log in. We're going to have to do a login, and we've got to decide who's first, who's second, who's third. They'll email you, they'll call you, they'll set it up, but there is some training involved. For the revitalization account with the city, they have asked the protocol to be June Montoya, who's a, Jenny.
Jenny Montoya from the Finance Department, the city administrator.
Yeah, she's
And the
an
city
accountant.
Yes.
Mhm. And then the next one we talked about would be the finance director.
Correct, correct.
And then the last one would be
You,
me. Okay, the last one would be me. So when something comes through, it needs approval, the city will handle that account. I'd be the last person that would have to make a call on it. The other account, we had decided,
Well, I just want to make
oh, I'm sorry.
clear, is you as treasurer as the last signee?
Well, not the last signee, but the last one to approve anything that comes up that's a question through the positive pay.
you may have to go over that portion on the positive pay. Is everyone clear as to how the positive pay works?
I'm not.
Okay, so that would probably be Ms. James, yeah.
Okay, so if we write a check, we're going to have it set up where the check, we don't upload an account. You have to approve it. It has to be approved. It's kind of a. In my business, I log in and I look at mine every day, but this would be different. And we're going to have a protocol on who's the first, who's the second, who's the third to approve them. So there's some protection for the accounts. So on the revitalization account, if we write a check or anything happens, it has to be approved. And the city does their account the same way, and that's the protocol they ask Sylvia and I to follow.
Is it an online approval, or are you saying
So it's
three
both.
signatures?
It's both.
Okay.
To Ms. Chambers' point, when a check is written, it will have to, there is a call that is made to Ms. Chambers to verify that that check was indeed written and is authorized. If there is an ACH online transaction, the same thing happens. Regardless of whether it's put into the system, there is a final approval that has to go through Ms. Chambers for the Development Authority account and yourself, and then for the revitalization account, development account, that has to go through the city administrator and the finance team.
So before any withdrawals or any payments are made out of that account, everybody, all three of those folks will have to be notified so that
That's right.
you are contacted.
That's right. And you'll be able to log on to it. You'll be able to know what you're approving and what you're not approving. And there's a setting we can do, like if anybody tries to ACH anything out of it and we don't make a decision, or there's a check and we don't make a decision by 3 o'clock, we have to decide. If nobody decides, if nobody logs on, we have to say yes or no. He suggested that we say void it because it doesn't really cancel the check. Whoever we wrote the check to can come back to us and say, hey, y'all wrote me a check, and we tell them redeposit it. By some chance, the 3 steps are missed, the 3 approvals, somebody on that 3 approval list misses it.
Yeah, so Corey did verify that if by chance, all of the approvals do not, to Ms. Chambers' point, if the approvals don't take place, the check is canceled. And so the person who the check was issued to would have to contact Ms. Chambers to basically have, find out what happened with the funds, and then they will reissue the check. It's to ensure that there is no fraud to the account.
And that's $125 a month?
$125 a month.
And that, of course, our interest that we draw on, it'll cover that. It should cover it in both accounts.
125 a month total or 250 a month?
Total?
Each account, 125 a
Oh,
month.
each account?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it's 2 separate,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they're 2 separate accounts.
Well, I'll wait for Dan.
Okay.
I mean, is that something, I don't know if that's something that bond money can be paid towards.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Dan will be on the call at 6:30, so we probably need to just make a note to revisit.
Circle back, okay.
Okay, so the last thing we need to decide tonight is our checking account, the Development Authority's checking account. We had it set up for them, for Chairman Crum to be the first call, Sylvia to be the second call, and I would be the last one. That way, since I'm writing the checks, if you're good with that,
That, this is with the positive pay or this something separate?
positive
It's a-
pay.
Yeah,
Positive
positive
pay,
pay.
okay.
Yep, you would be the,
Is this something that needs to go before the board as a vote, or we just need to?
So what, and Aaron, let me know on this one. This is general housekeeping
Sure.
for us. And it's more informing the board. The treasurer's report is an action to inform the board as to all of the financial transactions that have taken place, as well as any bank activities that are taking place. So right now, it is just to inform the board of what the internal process will be, the checks and balances that are going to be in place. And we can follow up with written notification to the board as well.
Let's do this. Let's bring this before the board. Since it is gonna be a monthly payment, I don't want any payments without board approval.
Okay.
So let's bring it up on the 25th. I think we're meeting again on the 25th as a voting item.
Okay.
And I guess if we have any questions about it between now and then, we can be prepared to ask Ms. Chambers at that point.
so you're good with the protocol list, who's first, second, and third?
Generally, yes, but again, before we implement that, I would like for it to be on the agenda as a voting item.
Okay, and the last thing is, I have your copies here, but I wasn't sure if you wanted me to, oh, I'm gonna give them to you. I wasn't sure.
Here.
These are ones that send them to the city, to Jenny Montoya. Okay, that would take something off your plate.
Yeah, but as an official step, yeah.
As a courtesy, can we turn the heat down a little bit, or is it?
It's really hot. Excuse me.
In the hot seat.
All right,
Ms. Chambers, I do have a question. I'm assuming the chair, if a check was written, he's always going to know in advance before he gets that call.
well, there's 3 signatures. It can
Correct.
be mine, the chair, and the co-chair, which is Letitia McCoy.
Right, but I thought he's going to get that first on, one of them, doesn't he get the first call?
On our checking account.
Correct.
That's right.
So he's got to always know,
Yeah.
Prior to,
yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I was just
Yeah,
curious.
everybody, we'll all
he
have
got
to
the
know.
call and.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to ask you is if you want that responsibility, or do you want us to try to, I mean, you got a lot on your plate. You could let the co-chair do it. So you can think about it.
I guess let me, yeah, let's talk, here's my question, because I think it's to Mr. Wiley's point, is that I thought we had already talked about there being 3 signatures before checks are issued anyway. And I thought it was me, you, and the co-chair, Ms. McCoy.
That's right.
Okay.
But what we've had to do, because we don't have checks, is when we've been in a crunch situation, I've had to go down there and do an official check.
Okay. And I have not gotten a call on an official check, but I guess since.
They won't.
since it's an official check.
Well, we don't have positive pay yet.
Gotcha, okay.
But it's a checks and balance we have to have on these public funds accounts. No matter how we set it up, who's first, who's second, who's third, we got to have it.
Okay,
Because there's so much fraud out there, and I'll share with you this. When I went down there to do the official check, and I said, hey, we don't have positive pay, the banker, our banker, and her name's on the front of in your file, her name's in there if you ever need her or have a question, Rashana Peterman.
okay.
But she said, you know, you've got tellers, and they're watching what you do. And she said, you know, there's always a chance something could happen. So we've got to have that positive pay in place as a checks and balance and to make sure there's no fraud on the account.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think as a matter of protocol, I would like for it to be a voting item,
Okay?
that's all.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you
All right.
wholeheartedly.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Chairman, and that's why I was gonna say the formality is you put that in the minutes.
Right.
The 3 checks, the 3 signers that was indicated at the last meeting. So that's in the minutes. And then as we move forward to the next meeting, remember, we're going to approve a resolution that appoints the executive director to make some changes necessary.
Right. Yeah, just make sure it's a voting item on the next agenda.
And then,
Thank you.
to your point, the initial protocol is still in place, where you have the vice chair. Where the issue came up is when Ms. Chambers was setting up what is it called, the public
Public funds account.
public funds account. Then those additional questions were asked, but we will govern ourselves according to the initial designation by the board of those 3 signers. So we'll follow up on that.
Just keeping those initial 3.
Right.
Yeah, just keeping that, that's exactly right.
Right. Okay.
Now, just as a point of clarification, the revitalization project account is different. So that will
yeah.
have a different set of signers.
I'm with you. I just want to know if we're taking on that cost alone or if it's coming out the bond or if
Correct.
the city, how we're going
And
to
we'll have that
do that
information. Yeah.
at 125 up. Okay.
Well, just to that point now, the wire fees, the in-wire fees and the out-wire fees were charged on that account as well. That's why we couldn't send exactly $300,000, because they charged us to wire the money in and to wire it out.
Okay.
There are fees already on that account.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, let's iron out what can be paid out of that bond as it relates to this account, that bond money, what can't. And then if it can't, if we're not going to split it between the development authority and the city, well, if it's not going to come out of that bond, if there's going to be a way that we're going to split those fees up between the development authority and the city.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Chambers. Next item on the agenda, Board Secretary, to discuss DDA engineering projects in partnership with Georgia Tech.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm really excited to talk about this potential project. I know, Chairman, we spoke about it in the past. This is just for informational purposes only. I spoke a little to you about it. Mr. Wiley, I'm going to draw up my notes here. All right, so just a little background information. As most of you know, I'm a mechanical engineer from one of the finest universities in the world, University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. However, Georgia Tech is a pretty decent school. I actually recruited there back in the early 2000s for some engineers, so they have a great program. So when I had the opportunity to meet somebody who represented Georgia Tech at the, correct me if I'm wrong, Sylvia, Aerotropolis meeting where there were a number of city mayors and we were trying to work together. She informed me that they were doing community service projects with other municipalities. At the time, I wanted her to work with some of my mentees. I have a number of mentees that I tried to encourage to become engineers working on STEM programs. But the things that she was speaking about were kind of above their head. They were more like school level. So I spoke with her about what we were doing here in the city of Fairburn and some potential projects that we might be able to partner with. So with that said, she mentioned to me about things that they've done in the past, a long list of items. And I have just 8 potential projects that I would like you guys just to think about. We're not going to make a decision as of yet, but I really would like Leadership Fairburn to be involved with this. And so I'm going to start off with the list. The first one being the one that we're leaning towards, and that's dealing with electric vehicles, readiness and charging infrastructure plan. So develop a citywide plan for electric vehicle charging stations, including site selection, grid impact, and public-private partnership opportunities. And just to let you know, this is no cost to us. We're actually using resources from Georgia Tech, their grad students, to work with whoever we designate. I actually would like to work with them, but if we can have Leadership Fairburn work with them, I think it'd be advantageous for that group also. Not for the initial cohort, but for later on. So that's the first program, and that's something that we're already looking into as a city. The next one is public transportation and mobility enhancement study. That's evaluating the mobility options such as bike lanes, e-scooters, things of that nature, for connectivity to support economic growth. This is something I'm sure you guys seen with the scooters running around, things of that nature. Next one is downtown Fairburn revitalization engineering support, basically providing civil and structural engineering concepts to support walkability. We always talk about we want the live, work, and play atmosphere in downtown Fairburn. So I think that's also a good one. Another one is emergency management disaster resilience planning to engineer solutions to improve overall city resilience against severe weather power outages. I recall many power outages that affected my business, and I had major issues with that. So this is another one that I think would be great for us. I could keep going on, but this is just kind of give you a feel for some of the potential engineering projects that we could work with Georgia Tech graduate engineering students with that would cost us nothing, would be great for visibility, and also this is a proven system that they've already done with other municipalities. So with that, I'm just providing this for informational purposes only. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
Anyone from the audience? Yes. That is correct. Okay, if you're familiar with Douglasville, there's right by the Panera Bread, there's a row of probably 10 or 15 Tesla stations. Initially, when they put it up, because that's where I reside, I was surprised because not that many people have EVs, but they were forward thinking. Now, every time you pass by there are at least 5 or 6 cars there. So we're trying to be situated to succeed. We need to prepare our infrastructure for electrical vehicles. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So someone put in that plan, and now it's working. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Anybody else?
Are we in conversations with the representative from Georgia Tech that's over the program?
Yes.
I'm not sure exactly how we begin to implement, but I would love for that person to come and present and talk about ideas about how we could partner. And I know that we've been talking about putting it or involving Leadership Fairburn with this initiative, not on this cohort, but at some point in the future. But I would like to, figure out a way that we can begin to talk about how do we implement this, because I think it's a great idea.
Okay, what I could do is I could talk to her. Her name is Valerie McConaughey.
Okay,
I could speak with her about seeing if she could either come visit or we could stream her in.
perfect.
All right.
Any other questions, comments?
Great list of ideas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Our next item is the Main Street monthly report.
evening, Board of Director members. My name is Latanya. I'm the new Main Street Manager, and I'm excited to share with you an update on some of the great things happening through the Main Street program and what we currently have in progress. We wrapped December on a very positive note with our Angel Tree program. We were able to support 8 families across, we were able to help 8 kids across 5 families. In conjunction with our sponsors from ATL Magazine, each child received a $100 gift card. Plus, we were able to provide them with 2 to 3 items on their Christmas list. It was truly a pleasure to help bring holiday joy to families in our community. We also hosted a very successful 3 cities tour for both current and newly elected city officials. During the tour, we visited Sugar Hill, Brookhaven, and Duluth. It gave us a great opportunity to see firsthand how these cities are enhancing their downtown areas, supporting local businesses, and driving revitalization. We were able to bring back several ideas and strategies that can help strengthen downtown Fairburn. I'm also proud to share that I've recently completed my Main Street 101 training street program in supporting historic downtown revitalization, preserving community character, and strengthening our local economy. Everything we do continues to follow the 4-point approach, which focuses on design, organization, promotion, and economic vitality. I'm looking forward ahead to and we're also looking forward to having a home buyers, actually it's an open house on this coming Friday with DRB Homes. This will be an event to educate both current and future home buyers about financing options and home buyer assistance program that can help making the home ownership process a lot more accessible. You get to walk the DRB Homes, meet with some of the sellers and the builders of that particular property. And in preparation for our upcoming Business Alliance meeting, we have updated our business directory of all open and operating businesses within Fairburn. This helps us stay connected with our business community, ensure we are providing them with support and resources they need. We are also continuing to accept applications for the historic downtown clock plaque program. This gives residents and businesses an opportunity to become a permanent part of Fairburn's history by purchasing a commemorative plaque on one of the 4 sides of the clock, and I'm happy to report that we're close to selling half of the 100 spaces that are currently available. And at the same time, we're actively working on several upcoming events, including our pop-up food truck event, the Fairburn Block Party, Groove Grilling Smoke Fest, which will be in July, and the Renaissance Festival, and coordinating vendors for our upcoming Third Friday events. We are excited about the continued growth, engagement, and opportunities these programs and events will bring to our downtown and our community as a whole. Thank you for your support. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
Oh, we do have a Business Alliance meeting that will be coming up on February the 12th at 6 p.m. We'll be able to gather and if you have any questions.
I do have a question. Give me a little update on the clock plaque. I hadn't heard of that.
Well, the clock is an opportunity for either residents or businesses where they can place the clock that's out downtown on the educational campus. You could place either your business name, you can write, a note or something, and you can place it as engraved, and it's a plaque that's placed there. We have 4 sides, and we can put 25 plaques per side. And we have, like I said, we're almost halfway to the halfway point where people are purchasing plaques, businesses and individuals, to place their names there on those sides.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments?
The amount of the plaques are $150 per plaque, and we have 4 sides for the plaques.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Leadership Fairburn update is the next item.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to stand before you this evening. I'm Dr. Maya Taylor, and we're going to briefly share with you our implementation and launching strategies for the beginning of our first cohort of Leadership Fairburn. As you know, Leadership Fairburn is a selective adult civic leadership pilot designed to build a sustainable leadership pipeline for the city of Fairburn so that it not only is situated to succeed, but it also is situated to lead through our 3D leadership program. I want to briefly discuss some key milestones. As you know, we will be presenting to the Business Alliance members on next week, February 12th, I have in your packet there that it would take place at Chairman's location, but actually it's going to take place here. So please excuse that error. We're looking forward to that. We are excited to announce that we will launch on March 3rd, and our schedules look like this. Every first and last Tuesday of each month from March to September.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Dr. Taylor.
Sure.
We were passing out the paper, and I think we missed the majority of the beginning of
that's
your
okay.
presentation.
We're also going to send it to you electronically as well.
I just don't want to miss any dates.
Oh, no, that's fine. I'll repeat. Next week, we are going to actually introduce to the Business Alliance this program, and we are excited. It will be held, of course, you all know, here at City Hall, though on the paper it says at Chairman's location, so excuse that error. Our official launch date will be March 3rd, and our sessions will go accordingly. Every first and last Tuesday of each month from 6:30 to 8:30. And we will wrap up in September and prepare for our graduation in October. Each monthly session will be filled with people that are experts in certain fields, and they will learn about leadership and project-based alignment with Fairburn's priorities. Our next steps, of course, will be we will conduct our interest meeting, which is next week. Then we will confirm our cohort members. We will launch our program, and we will begin our monthly sessions and our projects. So we are very excited about it. We think it's going to definitely leverage and certainly show off the greatness of the city of Fairburn. I'll call up now my board chair, Ms. Pinky.
All right, just to kind of reiterate, I'm reading off of the implementation steps, if you select that. Okay, all right. So phase one of the project begins with our pre-launch and interest meeting. And as Dr. Taylor indicated, February 12th is the interest meeting. It says 6:30 there, but the flyer actually says the right time. It's at 6 p.m. Then phase two of the project is the selection and onboarding. Once we have had the interest meeting, hopefully we will have plenty of people that will have an interest in the project, and we will select 12 participants, and we will start the process of confirming them and notifying them that they have been selected for the program. Phase three of the project is the actual program launch, which is March 3rd. And we begin the sessions, as Dr. Taylor said, on Tuesdays of each month, the first and the last Tuesday of each month. Then, of course, there is phase four, which is the project development and impact. This phase of the program is actually the meat of it. We will conduct our monthly progress reviews and midpoint evaluations throughout the program. Then the final phase will be the evaluation of the program. And we're hoping to have the participants give us some good feedback on how satisfied they were with the program, and we will, at that point, prepare a report for you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
I have one quick question.
Yes.
Right now, since you said February 12th is the interest meeting,
Yes.
you already have marketing out there, so do you have any anticipation on how many people you might have?
Sylvia invited us to actually make February 12th the Business Alliance as the interest meeting.
Oh, okay.
The city of Fairburn has already gotten marketing out there, as well as we've done a commercial.
That's correct.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's correct. So we have finalized, and I don't know, Mike, do you want to speak to the commercial that was prepared on behalf of Leadership Fairburn? Yep. So we completed yeah. Right. So Mike Smith, our AV coordinator, is also an award-winning videographer. So he has done extensive work throughout South Fulton and nationally. And he has graciously he's working with us to do our leadership Fairburn promo. So we're real excited about that, and we should have that ready for our Business Alliance meeting, as well as additional promotions. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? I do have something. Number one, I'm so excited about this coming to fruition. As we talked about, this is something that we've been talking about for some months now, and you all taking the reins to make this opportunity, I think, a real thing for the city of Fairburn, I think is a great opportunity for the citizens. I know number 5 or phase 5 talks about sustainability. I would like for a continuous conversation to talk about sustainability, especially as it relates to financing the program. It is something that we do want to see continue, and if there's grant opportunities, or if we're talking about corporate sponsorship or scholarship type ordeals that we can implement, I would like to start talking about sustainability, where the Development Authority doesn't have to take on the expense. We will for this first cohort, but just for in the future, how we can make sure that this program is sustainable, kind of on its own from a financial standpoint.
Absolutely, definitely.
Thank you.
Look forward to that conversation.
Appreciate it. All right, any other questions or comments? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next. Next, we have the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, we are so happy to have Miss Kathy Booker with us. She is also award-winning CEO, and she is the new chairman of the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. She has extensive experience as an entrepreneur, is also nonprofit organizational management, and the list goes on. She's worked a decade or so with South Fulton. She knows the nuts and bolts and is bringing innovative leadership. So we're very excited to have her here. She wanted to touch base with our board and talk about a new initiative that they're doing to really help our small businesses and our community at large. Ms. Booker.
All right. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all so much for allowing us to come before you tonight just to share our future forward vision for the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. I don't know, well, most of you probably are familiar with Diane Matthews, who used to be the president of the chamber. So we are graciously celebrating her retiring. And as of January 1st, I became the interim president and CEO. So again, we're excited about sharing our future forward strategy plan with you all. And so we look forward to any type of collaboration, connections, partnering, partnerships, or whatever. We can definitely look forward to working together. All right, Dr. Lisa. Oh, also I have Dr. Lisa Richardson, who is here as our Director of Operations for the Chamber. So we came in January 1, well, actually before January 1, just, kicking the door down, like we just ready for 2026 and to do some great things. And so our goal is to enhance the Chamber's leadership and our membership engagement with our members that we already have. We are working on a new branding. So we're excited about the brand that we have coming forth and positioning us as the organization as a leading catalyst for economic and community advancement. So, guys, the future of the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce, I'm super, super excited about bringing our membership new value, more visibility, and a whole new venue. So we're going to be talking about that. You all know that we are located in Shannon Towers in Union City. And so what we are doing, turning our office space into a business development center. And so what we are offering there, so we want to introduce to you guys now, it is called the Georgia Power Business Development Center at Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. And that is because they decided to join the vision, and so they are our naming partner of the center. And so inside, we did what we call a vision review, or we did a tour. So Dr. Meyer, you got a chance to do the tour. And Sylvia, you got a chance to do the tour as well. And so when you come inside the building, we have our training room, which any business owner or business member, of course, they have the opportunity to do a naming partnership with us as well for our training room. And that is one of the largest training room that we have on the inside of the facility. And so we're going to be using that to rent out to our members and, businesses in the area. So we're looking forward to offering these amenities and these new benefits to our members and to the community. And so with that, with our naming partnership, you get to, of course, if it's Fairburn's development, training room, development authority training room. And so we will be renting the space out for workshops, small conferences or receptions and different things like that. And so what we will also offer, not yet, Dr. Lisa, free Wi-Fi. I'm trying to see that. You know what? Where's your? I'm trying to see the. But free Wi-Fi and just other, amenities for the members that come in. Yeah, it might help me a little bit more so I can see one. Okay, good. And so we also have what we call our huddle suite. That is a smaller conference room that we have that will also be able to be rented out by our community and our businesses, our memberships, so that in that small conference room they can host small conference meetings or something small and private, more intimate. And so we will provide them as well free Wi-Fi, whiteboard access, so they can just, handle any type of small private meetings. We have what we call our day suite, where we will have co-working hot desks. So it is a co-working space with hot desks, and so they will be able to rent those individually and just spend time in there working. For the ones who don't want to work at home, or the ones who hang out at the coffee shops and different things like that. So we want to offer them a safe space, for their internet usage and things like that. And then we have our creator studio, which is our media studio, where we will be helping them to produce any type of podcast, any type of live streaming, and just different things like that. But we will also offer recording and training, media training, all right? And then we have our business lounge, which is like more of a little open space. And so, and in the business lounge is more of you grab your seat, you grab your laptop table, and just go to work and have, as much coffee and snacks as you want while you are, there taking the time to work privately. And we will be offering some simple business resources as well as, again, we mentioned internet, but copy services and something small, and just some business camaraderie. So they may, you may meet up with a partner there and just be able to do all of your brainstorming. So, but we will be offering free business courses. We also already have a program which is called Women University, which has been around for 12 years, which is our women's business initiative. And so we've helped hundreds of women to go through and, start businesses, and for ones who are already in businesses to help take their business to the next level. But we also have Business Builders, which is a co-ed program for men and women. And so it's pretty much the same curriculum, but it's helping them to be successful in their businesses. So next, Dr. Lisa is going to take it from here.
Good evening. So the goal for the Development Center and the growth of the Chamber as a whole this year is to reconnect with our members, bring them back into the fold, and give them an opportunity to see the value of being a Chamber member, whether that is working with us on site or connecting with virtual courses, classes, and training. So during this first quarter, we are focused on the Re-Engaging Reconnect, which is where our establishment lies, then moving into the rebrand and refresh, which is when we're doing the actual reconstruction of the suite space into the business center. During the re-engage and rebuild, expect lots of great events from the chamber this year. You will see us all over South Fulton because we represent all 8 cities, and give an opportunity to help with the cross connections across the city lines so that the entire South Fulton business community can benefit from our support. And then recognize and rise, we are moving into our first, at the end of the year, Business of the Year Award, South Fulton Business of the Year Awards, and other recognition for business owners to keep them recognized and celebrated within the community. And that's where we're going at the Greater South Fulton Chamber.
Thank you.
Questions?
What's the fee to join?
Depends on your growth goals and visibility desire. At the very small business solopreneur level, it's $295 for the year. We will also have an option for $32 a month at that level. And then from there, we go to $450 for our Cornerstone membership, $625 for our Pillar of the Community. Our Anchor is at $850, and our Skyline, the last step before you start looking at the Chairman's Circle, is at $1,800. And so our goal was to be accessible to different size businesses and still give a lot of value for those dollars.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Most of our courses are available to the community. Our members will be able to attend for a discounted rate. And the greater community will be a little bit future pricing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for presenting.
Thank you guys for the invite. We appreciate it.
All right. Next item I have on the agenda is executive session.
Yep.
Can I,
Yep. So, Mr. Dan McRae is on the call now. Did you want to go back to the question that you had regarding the banking item and the bond funds?
Yeah, that's
Can come
fine.
out of that account? Is that an executive?
it's fine for me to go back.
It's on mute.
Hey, Dan,
Good evening.
Did he?
can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
Good to see your face this evening, Dan. It looks like you had a good day at work today.
Every day is at work, but at least I'm sitting at my own desk for a change. It's been a busy week.
I hear that. We had a question that came up during the treasurer's report as it relates to positive pay and the fee that's associated with us getting positive pay added on to our Ameris Bank account. It is a $125 a month fee. And I was not clear if any of the bond money issuance could go towards that fee to maintain the revitalization account that we have jointly with the city, or if that's or if we cannot use bond funds for something like that.
I would, before I give a definitive answer, I'd want to look at the documents, but I would be surprised if I did not find that you could use bond funds for that. The bond resolution requires a project fund and a bond fund as part of the transaction. So that's an expense of the transaction. I'm sure that if I looked in the definitions in the revenue bond law, I would not find a reference to a positive fund. But to me, that's a transaction cost that ought to be paid out of the proceeds of the transaction. And I can check and confirm that, but provisionally my answer is yes, you can do that.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind checking to confirm that and providing us with a written opinion, that'd be great.
I'll do it.
Let me just make one statement too. Now, when we set that revitalization account up, we set it up as a interest-bearing money market account. So we are drawing interest on it. So those fees are probably, a lot of times will be offset by that interest we accrue on that account.
Okay, that's another question. What is the money that's drawing interest? Is there money in the account now?
Well, we deposited the $300,000 that the city gave us for the 25 West Broad Street project. There were two fees in that. There was a wire-in fee, there was a wire-out fee when we paid for that real estate. But that one day that $300,000 was in there, we drew like $9.40 in interest. on that
You're
three-
doing better than I am.
Yep.
All right, so that's another thing. What I was referring to is the proceeds of the bond. The money that you're talking about is the city's advance, I'm going to call it. And we will repay that out of bond proceeds, just as the authority will get back our cash contribution to the purchase price. And there's an important distinction there because it's not the revenue bond law, it's yet another law. And in the bond resolution, there's a restriction on what public bodies can invest their funds in when they're bond proceeds. And that's spelled out in the bond resolution. I don't think a bank interest-bearing account is in that category because the law is concerned with, an authority not issuing a bond, raising money, and then losing the money because the bank fails or because it went into a bad investment. So those investments are restricted. So we set to one side the fund that we're talking about, and that's a fund that sounds like it's being used, I would think, temporarily for the money advanced by the city and by the authority, unless the intention is to keep that account active, pay that money out, and then put the bond proceeds in it. Is that what we're planning on doing?
Yes, that's what we're planning on doing. It's set aside just for the bonds, the bond deposits, separate from the Development Authority account.
All right, there are two accounts. One is the project fund that is used to pay costs of the project. The other is the bond fund that's used to repay the bond. The money in the funds are pledged to the repayment of the bond. So I think that it would be advisable, and it's just a matter of timing. We can do it sequentially at the closing if that's better. But if we have, when and if, we may have already done it, expended the money in that fund to actually buy those properties, then that account could be redesignated as the project fund because it's going to pay costs of the project. The acquisition cost of property is the cost of the project. We'd also have to have a bond fund where money going to repay the bond is deposited. Now, that would normally be the proceeds of the intergovernmental agreement, but that's going to be pledged directly to the bank. But as we rent properties and sell properties, there will be proceeds of those properties that will go to that account as well, to the extent that we deposit it in there to be used to repay the bond. So it's important that we have funds that are dedicated to the bond, one to pay costs of the project, one to repay the bond. Money in those funds that is invested have to be invested in permitted investments, which are spelled out in the bond resolution. So unless this positive pay account has some ongoing purpose, in which case we ought to make sure that it complies with the requirements of the bond resolution and it's designated as one of those two accounts, then we should use it, spend the money, and then close it. If you want to keep it, we've got to conform it to the requirements of the bond resolution and be careful because once that money goes in there, it can only be used for the purposes permitted by the bond resolution, and until it's used, it's pledged to the bank.
It sounds like, though, what he's saying, Ms. Chambers, is that we actually might need to open up one more account.
That's right.
Dan, just for clarification, the positive pay is actually a mechanism of oversight to prevent fraud, not necessarily an account. And so it requires 3 signees to basically authorize a transaction for payment before it is made.
Okay.
And so essentially, on each account, it sounds like, and this is separate from the Development Authority's account. This is just, I'm only speaking to the accounts that are required by this IGA and the bond resolution. For these accounts, if we add this positive pay oversight mechanism, it's gonna charge us $125 per month per account. And it sounds like your initial thought is that the money that we get from the bond could go towards paying that monthly fee to have that level of oversight.
Okay. What I understand now is that positive pay is not an account, it's a feature of an account
Right.
that we pay for. It's like a premium membership that everybody's always trying to sell you on the internet. So if that positive pay feature is attached to either one of the bond accounts, either the bond fund or the project fund, I think it can, that regular fee can be paid out of the bond proceeds.
Okay. All right, we all good, Ms. Chambers? We all good, everybody? All right, thank you, Dan. I'm glad you joined the meeting and were able to clear that up for us. Anything that you need to discuss, Dan, before we take a vote to go into executive session?
Nothing that I'm aware of. We have plenty to discuss in the Development Authority meeting, but I'm not aware of anything for the DDA right now.
Chairman, we are at 7 o'clock. Des is updating. She is on the line. Do you want to move that to the Development Authority?
That's fine. As a matter of protocol, do I just table this executive session agenda item? Or how would I skip this to go to adjournment of this meeting?
An executive session is always optional.
Okay.
And of course, I have to tell folks, don't go into executive session unless you have to, because the public doesn't like it. And if we don't have, first of all, an exempt purpose, and second, a compelling reason, then we shouldn't. And looking at the agenda set for this meeting, it says executive session if required. If it's not required, I think you can just skip that agenda item and move and skip number 8 because there's not an executive session and get right to number 9.
And for clarification, the Development Authority of Fairburn meeting is at 7. That's where we need to go into executive session to talk extensively about real estate matters. Is that your understanding, Dan, or is it different?
Well, in looking at the agenda, we've got the DDA, and I saw it for the first time today. So we've got the discussion that we've had. We have the possibility to go into executive session. Again, it says if required. We have 8 authority action, if any, following executive session and adjournment. So I think for the DDA, we can skip right to adjournment.
Okay.
And when we convene the Development Authority, we have a number of items, and to the extent that any of them have to do with the acquisition or disposition of property, we have an exempt purpose to go into executive session if we need to.
All right. I say we move for adjournment. Can I have a motion?
Chris Wiley, motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Todd Ireland, second.
All those in favor of adjourning the DDA meeting, please signify by saying aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned, and we will take 60 seconds and go into the EA meeting.
Sylvia, that's you?
She said yes, Dan.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Dan, you got to mute. All right. All right, it's 7 o'clock. I want to go ahead and call the Development Authority of Fairburns meeting to order. I'm going to start with the roll call. If you're present, please signify by indicating your presence. Vice Chair Letitia McCoy,
Aye.
Secretary Todd Ireland,
Aye.
Mr. Chris Wiley,
Aye.
Treasurer Ms. Patricia Chambers,
Aye.
Ms. Mika Smith,
Aye.
and Brandon Price Crum. I am here. We do have a quorum. First agenda item is approval of this agenda. Can I please have a motion to approve this agenda?
Chris
Motion
Wiley.
to approve the agenda, Mika Smith.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second, Chris Wiley.
All right, what is all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Agenda item number 5 is new business. Is there anybody in particular to discuss new business? Ms. Abernathy?
Yeah, new business is basically what we're going into in terms of the
Gotcha.
issues, yeah,
Okay.
resolution.
All right, the first item under new business is issue a resolution, bond closing and related matters.
Okay. So, under consideration and approval of the resolution of the Development Authority of Fairburn, making various provisions for the closing of the bond transaction. The first item is the approval of the project management agreement. The project management agreement will govern the revitalization project, which is inclusive of both property acquisitions and redevelopment within the downtown district. The broader revitalization intergovernmental agreement was approved by mayor and council, and the project management agreement is before the Development Authority for consideration and approval. So I will defer to Dan on each of these items. The motion, yeah, I'll defer to Dan regarding each item in terms of going into the particulars regarding the agreements.
Thank you, Sylvia. And if it's the board's pleasure, I can give a quick overview. So you have in your agenda package what we call an issuer's resolution, and it's like an umbrella. It covers a lot of things. These are attending to the details as we ramp up to our closing on the bond, which we anticipate as early as next week. So in order, the order in the resolution is a little different than the agenda. So let me just cover it in the order that's in the agenda. So there is a bond purchase loan agreement. That is basically the loan agreement with the bank. The board approved that earlier. We got some comments in at the last minute from bank counsel, which we had to deal with, not in the bond resolution because it had already been adopted, but in the bond purchase loan agreement. So you're seeing the bond purchase loan agreement again. The comparison that Sylvia provided shows you what the changes are. I think that they are all in order, and really there are bank requirements. It's pretty much going to have to be what the bank requires. The only thing of any significance is that the period during which we can't prepay the bonds has been extended a year from July 1st, 2027 to July 1st, 2028. And I don't think we plan to prepay. We're going to be really busy revitalizing and rehabilitating and renting and maybe selling some properties. So that has some economic significance in theory, but probably not in practice. The next document is the project management agreement. In the bond resolution, which the board has already approved, an attachment is an intergovernmental agreement with the city, and we have two now, and this will be 3. So the one that was approved, the intergovernmental agreement that was approved is with the approval of the bond resolution, is the financing contract that the bank relies on. It's an agreement in which the city agrees to pay the debt service if we can't. So that's very important. And in that agreement, in that existing previously approved IGA, is a requirement for a project management agreement. And that's where the day-to-day details and what the city's expectations are of the development authority are spelled out in some detail. The project management agreement was already pretty specific. We got some additional comments in. We just seem to be getting some comments. But those were added at the end of the project management agreement. Basically, it blesses the financial arrangements for the closing of the historic bank building, and the IGA, the bank IGA provision contemplated that the authority and the city would put in equal amounts. As it is, we put in 140 and the city put in 300, so this proves that. And it also talks about, here, look at that, section 19.5.2 talks about an account being established with the Ameris Bank to service the project fund. And this contains the requirement that the city asked for, that we not withdraw without another signature, that being the city administrator or his designee. Again, that is okay. The city attorney, incidentally, has reviewed and approved both the bond purchase loan agreement and the project management agreement. What's the next thing here? When we get into the documents. All right, so these are some other details. I think that's the last attachment. So the bond resolution contemplates an authorized issuer representative, which is the party that will be signing the requisitions and things like that. Some of the transaction documents have to be signed by the chair and attested by the secretary. This is different than that. The bond purchase loan agreement allows the chair to sign or somebody the chair designates. And so for purposes of approving, acting as paying agent, acting as bond registrar, the resolution appoints the executive director to serve as the, first of all, the executive director, and then secondly, as the another authorized issuer representative. So the executive director and this is without additional compensation, serves as bond registrar, serves as paying agent, which is required by the bond resolution, and can act as authorized issuer representative when the chairman so designates. This authorizes and requests the chair to do that. And then the rest of the resolution just is in line with that, authorizing and approving everything above. So that's the purpose of the issuer resolution. These are matters that are needed and required by the bond resolution. And from a legal perspective, I can recommend this issuer resolution to the board for approval. It's up to the board, but it looks okay to me. It ought to be. I wrote it.
Are any questions or comments for Dan? And Dan, let me say this. I really appreciate all of the hard work that you have put in to get this done and to this point. I've been on the email chains, and I mean, any time of the morning, any time of the night, you are responding, and I really, really, on behalf of the board, just want to say thank you for all that you've done to make this possible. I see all the hard work that you put in to make sure that this has come to this point and will ultimately come to fruition.
It's my great pleasure to do that. Thank you for including me.
Absolutely. I do want to ask, so as it relates to the designation of the executive director, I know the recommendation was made to make Sylvia the executive director. Are we going by these bullet points as each individual voting item, or Go ahead.
That's the magic of the issuer resolution. All you do is adopt the issuer resolution, and it takes care of all this stuff.
Right. That's what I thought. All right. And so, but just to be clear with the board, the designation of the executive director authorizes us to have a executive director, but does it also authorize it to be Sylvia?
Yeah, yes to both.
Okay. All right. So I think with that being the case, we could just do one vote for everything.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. Can I have a motion that we authorize the issuer resolution and all action and allow that we take all actions necessary or desirable to consummate the bond transaction?
Chris Wiley, motion.
All right, that motion has been made. Is there a second?
It's Todd Ireland, second that motion.
All right, that motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion, questions, comments from the board? All right, seeing none, let's move for a vote. Let's take a roll call vote on this one. Ms. Letitia McCoy, what is your vote?
Yes.
Mr. Todd Ireland, what is your vote?
Yes.
Mika Smith, what is your vote?
Yes.
Chris
Did y'all
Wiley?
hear me?
Yes. Chris Wiley, what is your vote?
Yes.
Patricia Chambers, what is your vote?
Yes.
And as chairman, my vote is yes as well. All right, that resolution passes. Thank you again, Dan, for your work on that, and I will make sure all the proper documents are executed.
Thank you, board members. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, under new business, the next item that I have is First Amendment to Memorandum of Understanding for the Mosby Fairburn LLC.
If you like, Mr. Chairman, I can brief the board on that. This is our transaction in progress for the multifamily project in Fairburn. We are working on the closing under the bond documents, and the closing date, the developer continues, or I shouldn't say continue, this is, I think, the second request. One had to do with the original documents, and this is new. To extend the time for closing of the bond transaction under the MOU. Right now, as it stands, that date was December 31st, 2025. That date's passed. Either party, either the developer or the authority, can cancel the MOU. Not that we would do that. But the developer has requested an outside date now, outside deadline for closing of May 31st, 2026. That's, this is already February, so it's only 4 months off, which seems like a lot, but people tend to build in a margin. And what we understand from the developer is that they're actually targeting March the 12th, the middle of March, not the Ides of March, but close to it in March, which is not so far off. And there's going to be some work to do to get it done, in addition to the bond transaction, because they've got a lender, and the lender will want loan documents and that sort of thing. But the first step towards closing is to make the developer and their lender comfortable about the transaction being in place by extending the due date for the bond closing from 12/31/25 to 5/31/2026. We've talked with the developer, and if it meets the board's pleasure to extend that date, then this MOU amendment would do it. And it's a pretty straightforward document. So if the board views with favor extending the date, then I can recommend the document to you for approval from a legal perspective.
All right, thanks, Dan. Let's bring it to the board for a vote. Can I get a motion for approval of the First Amendment to the Memorandum of Understanding between the Development Authority of Fairburn and Mosby Fairburn LLC for approval of all matters necessary or desirable in connection therewith?
Chris Wiley, motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Mika Smith, second.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Is there any questions or comments regarding this particular item? All right, seeing none, let's move for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it. Motion is approved. Next item that I have under new business is South City SCP Wren Park termination of lease and reconveyance of project. Speaking to
So,
this.
Mr. Chairman, if you like, I can brief on that as well. We've received a request from the developer to actually terminate the bond transaction, which has not been in effect very long. It looks like this termination is in connection with a sale of the project, and there's been a proposed limited warranty deed and bill of sale from the authority to a company called Post Oslo, P-O-S-T, one word, Oslo, O-S-L-O, which I know nothing about. But as is normal in bond transaction, provision is made for the developer to get title to his project back. If we didn't provide for that, then nobody would do these deals. These are not documents that we prepared. These were prepared before Seifert came back and was able to start representing the authority. And they have some, I'm not saying they're bad documents, but they have some provisions in it that are not what I would include. One of which provides for the authority to, when the deal is terminated, to deed the property to a designee of the developer, which gets us involved in somebody else's real estate closing. So that's obviously not something you want to do unless you have to. The documents we received, Developers Council is somebody we know, they're good lawyers, sent us some documents which we have looked at, and for purposes of what the developer wants to do, they're not everything that we would want. So we're going to have to add a document or two to it. And so that's going to require some discussion with the developer. But what I would like to do is to have one of the revisions that we'll see be that, okay, if they want to go ahead and terminate this, fine, but we'll deed the project back to the developer, not to some unknown third party. Because of the fact that we know the documents need some work, and because there's a tweak I'd like to make in the structure, what your issuer resolution for this deal provides is basically this. It says, okay, we've received some documents. The authority board members approve the termination using documents in form ultimately basically negotiated by the chair in consultation with council, meaning that if it's okay with the board and you approve this, then we'll go ahead, finalize the documents, terminate the deal, and grant the deed conveying the project back without the requirement of another vote by the authority. We have a little time on this. I don't think they're trying to close until next month anyway, and a month is a long, long time for transaction lawyers. So if the board is comfortable with this, then you can approve the resolution. If you'd like to see the final documents, you may need to have a special meeting in order to do that, but we can do whatever the board wants. I'm comfortable with the issuer resolution as it's presented to you, even though it attaches documents that I don't think will be final, because ultimately the project will be, the bonds will be terminated and the project will be deeded back to the company in accordance with the bond resolution. It has to be. That's the document that governs the transaction. So we're really just talking about details. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, and if the board approves that approach, then the board can go ahead and approve this resolution tonight.
Okay, let me bring this item before the board. What, give me the simple language for this item, Dan.
Well, it would be
Well-
a motion to approve the issuer resolution in the form presented to the meeting. So that issuer resolution, again, takes care of all this.
All right. I guess the language you mentioned earlier was with final documents being approved through review of council prior to being executed, I guess, is the language that I'm looking for.
That's in the issuer resolution, Mr. Chairman. In fact, if you look at section 1, I can read it to you. Each of such termination documents shall be executed by the chairman of the issuer in forms approved by the chairman of the issuer in consultation with the issuer's legal counsel. And the execution of such documents by the chairman of the issuer as herein authorized shall be conclusive evidence of such approval. And then it goes on, there's a whole lot of verbs. For the avoidance of doubt, the termination documents shall be prepared, reviewed, drafted, negotiated, revised, and finalized as appropriate by and between respective legal counsel, the issuer, and the company, and so on.
I'm sorry, Dan, the issue is I don't have the language.
I'm sorry, I thought that was in your agenda package, but there is if I could share my screen, I'd show it to you, but I'm on my phone.
I have a copy.
Okay. It's section 1. I was reading from the first 2 or 3 sentences in section 1.
All right, and I'm gonna try to do this the best I can. All right, so I would like for us to have a motion for the execution and delivery of the termination documents. Each of such termination documents shall be executed by the chairman of the issuer in forms approved by the chairman of the issuer in consultation with the issuer's legal counsel, and the execution of such document by the chairman of the issuer as herein authorized shall be conclusive evidence of such approval. Can I please get a motion?
Chris Wiley, motion.
All right, that motion has been made. Is there a second?
It's Todd Ireland, I second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly seconded. Now, is there any questions or comments from the board members?
I have a question. Are there any financial ramifications of this termination?
There are not. I mean, we're holding title as an accommodation. It's a conduit transaction. It's not a sale. The developer will have to pay the costs incurred by the authority, which is basically legal fees to do the transaction. But this is not a commercial real estate transaction. It's the unwind of a bond transaction. All of this has basically been provided for in advance in the bond resolution, which was adopted a couple of years ago.
Thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, comments from the board before I bring this for a vote? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Motion is approved. Next item on the agenda is executive session. Can I please have a motion that we go into executive session?
Motion.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, you should state the exempt purpose, which is to consider a real estate transaction.
Can I have a motion that we go into executive session to discuss a real estate transaction?
Chris Wiley, motion.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second, Letitia McCoy.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. Any discussion before we move for a vote? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. Once Mike, is there anybody else on the Zoom that needs to clear? Okay. All right, once Mike clears, we will let you all know.